Defiance Campaign occurred in South Africa in 1952.
It was led by the African National Congress and was a nonviolent protest.
And it was the first large-scale multiracial protest against apartheid laws. Afrikaner National Party gained control and established apartheid. Two types of apartheid were grand and petty apartheid. Grand apartheid was not visible to the eye, while a petty apartheid was. Both strove to establish dominance of whites over non-whites in South Africa.
In 1948, the National Party, which consisted of mostly white South Africans, made apartheid laws stricter. The goal of this was to put apartheid on a larger scale and deny political representation and participation of black people at all levels of government.
On April 6, 1952, white South Africans celebrated the tercentenary of Jean van Riebeeck's arrival in South Africa in 1652. Black South Africans boycotted this and observed the day as a national day of pledge and prayer. On this day, there were speeches and mass rallies, which involved discussion of militant African nationalism and self-reliance. One speaker, Professor Z.K. Matthews, said, Only the African people themselves will ever rid themselves of political subjugation, economic exploitation, and social degradation. This statement helped the African people to realize they themselves were the only ones who could create change and escape apartheid. The Defiance Campaign was structured around nonviolence, civil disobedience, and unifying the African people while disobeying unjust laws during apartheid.
Mandela, president of the ANC Youth League, was appointed volunteer-in-chief of the campaign. He worked with Walter Sisulu, who played a large role in planning the Defiance Campaign. Sisulu and Mandela worked together and led protesters where they disobeyed unjust laws, and this led to activists of all races being imprisoned.
From the very beginning, the African National Congress set itself the task of fighting against white supremacy. We have always regarded as wrong for one racial group to dominate another racial group. And from the very beginning, the African National Congress has fought without hesitation against all forms of racial discrimination, and we shall continue to do so until freedom is achieved.
The success of apartheid was that the world began to take notice of the issues in South Africa. This campaign gained the attention of the United Nations. This led to the foundation of the Defense and Aid Fund for South Africa in London and the American Committee on Africa in New York.
Another success is that the campaign generated a mass upsurge for freedom. The membership of the ANC increased from 7,000 to 100,000. The campaign also led to the formation of the Colored People's Congress and a Congress of Democrats, and then a Congress Alliance, which played a crucial role in promoting multiracial resistance to apartheid in the following years.
However, the Defiance Campaign wasn't completely successful because the National Party came back with stricter laws and violence increased significantly. An example of the violence increasing is the Sharpeville massacre.
Ultimately, the Defiance Campaign was very unifying for the African people.
However, they still continued to struggle during apartheid in the following years.
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an idea for which I hope to live for and to see realized